Well, good morning, gentlemen. Thanks for joining us here on DC News Now. We're joined by Duyile, co-founder of Techsgiving, and also Femi Adebayo, also with Techsgiving, co-founder there. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here on the show. Really appreciate it. You guys are doing great things, and it seems like Techsgiving keeps growing every single year. So what's new? What's different this year?
First and foremost, thank you for having us again. Yeah, Techsgiving, we continue to grow. Last year we were at the Kennedy Center. This year we're proud to announce that we'll be at Nats Park Stadium. I think this year we're just meeting the moment, right? When you think about the AI age that we're in, we're going to have a lot of different talks about AI and have different experts that are coming in and talk about AI, and also just talking about career mobility. Right now is a trying time for the tech ecosystem, for those who are looking for jobs or looking for job security as well there too. So we'll have a lot of different opportunities for folks to learn, but also opportunities for folks to kind of grow their careers and get that sense of reinforcement as well there too.
Very cool. And you guys are in our new OBS studio. So I'm going to have to remind myself to look at you. I keep looking down. So apologies. So thanks for being here. And Femi, what do you think is going to be the most exciting part for you?
Yeah, so I think this year, naturally we face a lot of challenges with just how the year's been going with the market. So I think the most exciting thing is us meeting the moment, as I really said. I think at the end of the day, people want to get hired. People want to get jobs. People want to feel like they had job security. And while we're not necessarily advertising that, we want to advertise that this is a safe haven for you. So I think one thing is going to be our technical workshops, which we do every year, but we stride ourselves and really, tailoring top talent, people who are really experts in their field. And again, we're in the day of the age of AI, so we're going to have a lot of talks about that, specifically career mobility, how to leverage it, and let's do it. Our special keynote guest is going to be Earn Your Leisure, which is going to be, we're really excited about that. Troy and Rashad, they have a network and podcast called Earn Your Leisure. So they'll be talking about all things business and AI. So I think that's going to be a nice treat for our guests as well.
Yes. Oh, that's exciting. I really like those guys. They have a great podcast. I used to listen to them all the time. I need to get back to it. But yeah, that should be really fun. Also, we had a long government shutdown recently. So I'm sure you guys are going to be trying to work out ways to help the federal employees. How's that going?
Yeah, so we've done that in quite a different few ways. Well, first and foremost, we had our scholarships that were specifically for those who may be college students, but also those who were impacted by a layoff as well there too. So for those who, hopefully you got the access to that as well there too. So that was one way we're supporting as well there too. But then two, we're just talking about like what Femi said as well there too. How can you meet the moment and kind of use the transferable skills that you have from maybe a previous job to your next job as well there too. So one, just having those workshops that are going kind of more into depth. Then two, that scholarship opportunity. And then three, we're having face-to-face opportunities where people can connect with people like Amazon, Salesforce, Google, and so on and so forth. So that way they can get office hour style kind of, I guess, support from major companies, people who've been there and done that as well too.
Very cool. And, Techsgiving has grown so much. When you first started, did you expect it to be this big?
I mean, we could both. Yeah,
Not at all.
No way. I mean, the short and skinny of it just kind of came about as like, what is a way that two people that are from the DMV area can kind of pay it forward to one, the next generation of tech aspirants, but two, our peers as well. There too. Me and Femi were two people that were kind of leading the way in our fields, and a lot of people would ask us, like, how do I get into tech? And we just kind of wanted to do something small for the area. And a few years later, it's kind of grown into something that's stadium status.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you guys are going to be at Nats Park. How does that feel?
It's kind of surreal, to be honest, because we started doing the summit in 2020, and it was all virtual, right? We started during COVID to meet the need again. And then the next year we did it again virtually. And then we finally moved into an in-person space. And it was just the natural progression. We went to the gathering spot. And after that, we went to Audi Field, and we went to the Kennedy Center. And now we're at Nationals Park. And I think it's so fitting because the theme of this year is championship. So to have it at a stadium that's iconic, they have championships in the past few years. It just makes perfect sense. And so we're super excited for people to actually enjoy the conference, but also experience the space, right? So we'll be offering some tours to some of our select attendees that they could tour the stadium as well. So I think it'll be a really good, dope experience.
Yes, and for people who may be listening from out of town, Nats Park is where the Nationals play baseball,
Yes,
and
yes.
it's huge, and that's exciting. So, in terms of just how many attendees you're seeing, registrations, how's that looking?
It's still looking strong as well there too. And again, I think people are realizing that this is something that's really, really needed from a lot of different angles as well there too. They're coming in strong. When you think about people who are trying to pivot their careers or grow their careers, they have an avenue there as well there too. When you think about entrepreneurs as well there too, we're serving them from one, a startup expo, but then two, a pitch competition for $10,000. We all know in this economy, $10,000 can be life-changing as well there too. And then of course, just thinking about different ways to get that face time with big companies like Google, Amazon, Salesforce, so on and so forth as well. So you have the recruitment aspect, you have the way to grow your career when you're trying to upskill, and you also have the way to grow your business as well there too. And then, like Femi mentioned, having people like Earn Your Leisure doesn't help as well there too.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we talk about growth as well, but we've been doing the conference for about 6 years, but there's still a lot of people who don't know we exist, right? And so there's a lot of room for growth in that aspect of people who are moving into DC, coming out of DC. DC is almost like a revolving door of talent. So there's always new opportunity for us to, and which is super excited why we're here, to kind of preach the gospel and evangelize. Like this, again, this is a safe haven for you. This is a community where you can exchange knowledge and ideas and, better yourself, ultimately take control of your career.
Exciting. And that's one of the themes. Apparently, I was reading something from Amazon's chief technology officer this morning talking about his 2026 tech predictions. And one of them was how AI is going to impact the feeling of togetherness. People are lonely, and they're going to be reaching out using AI more to form community with bots, essentially. Okay. So, I mean, hearing you talk about coming together versus, just relying on technology to connect is pretty exciting there. And for people who may be wondering, how do they navigate going to the conference? Many conferences are so different. Some people like to do every day. Some people like to do a few days. How would you do this conference if you were an outsider coming in?
Yeah, I think it's, the beauty is that we have a Techsgiving mobile application that you can download from the App Store. So you can kind of go on and see the speakers, see the agenda, and kind of choose your journey as well there too, right? So that's the first thing. I would download the application. Before that, get a ticket. But on top of that as well there too, I think it's just kind of just setting your objectives, right? What is your goals when you want to leave Techsgiving? Is it to network? But you might want to be there for as long as possible. Or is it to get tangible skills in AI? Maybe you just want to kind of go to the AI tailored sessions, or are you looking for face-to-face with potential recruiters or big companies, and you want to make sure that you're there for the expo or there for the office hours with the potential companies as well there too. So that's the way I would think about it, kind of set your goals and then kind of tailor your schedule around that as well.
Okay. And so would you go every day, Femi?
I definitely would. I'm a little bit biased. But I think, the beauty about the conference is that we offer unique things per day. Right, so our Thursday is our technical workshop day, and let's even rewind a bit. Wednesday is the official first day of the conference, which is a virtual day, and we did that for people who weren't able to attend the conference in person. Maybe you're in, California. We wanted to give you that offering that you can still, receive some information. So we'll have a full virtual day packed with tons of speakers who are ready to deliver knowledge and expertise. And then Thursday is our technical workshop day. Pen and paper, very serious, come to learn. So that is, where we really harp on, building your technical skills, taking control of your career. And then Friday is going to be our full out day, panels, fireside chats, our pitch competitions. So I think you have the ability to tailor your day where, okay, I'm going to go for this. And then once I feel like I've done enough for this, I can actually go and, do this on Friday, so that you don't have to feel like I have to do every single thing every single day. It's tailored for you to take your time and fully experience the conference, in its entirety.
Nice. And so what are you experiencing in terms of the tech field right now? Some people have been laid off, and their AI semi-replaced a lot of software engineers. So how are you navigating the feeling that some people are a little depressed about what they're seeing?
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty in the conference, right? Techsgiving is around the holiday times. It's a time for people to kind of build that community. I think, honestly, that's what makes our conference the best conference is because it's a really community feel, right? So despite the fact that people are kind of in a gloomy time in tech, this is the best time to kind of build that community and come to a conference where you can get your community too. So I think that's one thing. And then two, we've already talked about meeting the moment. AI is here to stay. We are going to be talking about that very heavily at Techsgiving. So we're going to be talking about how to, think about it, shift the mindset from AI as something that is in opposition, but something that can actually be your actual advocate as well too. So thinking about ways to leverage AI for your career and also just for your business as well. So one, the community aspect is really needed. You want to be around people that are going through the same things as you. To have a safe space where you can say, hey, I may have been laid off, or hey, I'm having a tough time getting a job. We're all in this together, right? We're lifting as we climb, so you have that community. And then two, like Femi mentioned, pen to paper, actionable things that we can do to kind of learn and apply these skills for our careers as well is really a big thing that I think is necessary for people in this ecosystem.
Yeah, I do agree with that that notion that AI is here to stay. I do try to tell people when they tell me things like, oh, I don't know about AI, it's all bad. Well, what do you want to do? Do you want to fight AI?
Yeah.
I mean, or do you want to just embrace it and see what happens? Yeah. So I do agree with the embracing it and seeing what happens because it's not going anywhere, and it does make people's lives easier, and some people like that. So, Femi, how are you navigating AI right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm a software engineer by trade, so AI is fully integrated into my day-to-day. So there's a software called Cursor, which is an integrated development environment that a lot of people are using. It's really buzzing because it can essentially code for you, which is a good and bad thing, right? Because again, it makes things more efficient, but at the same time, you got to make sure you're checking your work. So for me and my team, it's important that we are leveraging it to get things done faster, but it's also giving us, the ability to do more work, but also check our work and, ultimately be a lot more efficient in our work. So I'm a big fan of it. I'm an advocate of it, but I think it has to definitely be done with taste because I think there is a slippery slope in which too much relying on it can also make you almost forget some of the basic things that you learned. So it's a hand-holding experience, but I think everyone should give it a try. And I think even for our attendees, so to speak, right, we've integrated last year where we had like AI chat boxes that kind of talked to you about the summit and gave you information about what was going on during the day. And those are things these are like small ways to kind of get integrated to kind of test the waters. And I think in general, the more information you know, the better equipped you're going to be able to use it in the future. So this is a good opportunity for people who may not be well-versed or who may be a little bit reluctant on it to kind of just understand what's going on and see how you could, take advantage and be the benefit of it.
That's great. And I know last year I participated virtually. I watched a couple of the sessions virtually. So how can people participate if they're online and they can't attend in person?
Yeah. Again, one of the big pieces of the summit, as Femi mentioned, right, we started off virtual, so we want to stay true to that to make sure it's accessible for all. So you can, virtual tickets are going to be going live very soon, so you can tune in and stream the summit from Wednesday all the way up until Friday, all the different sessions, all the workshops as well there too. So that is an offering as well there too. As much as we encourage you to come out to DC, because there's nothing like it, but if you can't, then definitely tune in virtually as well there too.
All right, gentlemen. Anything you'd like to add just about, what this did for your career, going to the Techsgiving Summit and hosting it? I'm sure it's more involved for you guys, but how has this changed people's lives?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely changed my life for sure. I think just being part of something that's being built, you get to just see a lot more that's happening, and you get to see a lot more of the change makers and, shake hands and just understand the full scape of the tech ecosystem. So that's been really beneficial for me. But on the attendee side, I think the most beautiful thing about doing this is when people come up to us and say, I went to Techsgiving this event, or I went to this event, and it may not have been the direct, job that's happened in the past. People have definitely gotten jobs for it, but even just I met someone from that to help me get in a position. I think that is sort of like, the reason it's more confirmation that we're doing the right thing. It's more confirmation that our responsibility is not, done in vain, and that, people are actually seeing value of the labor of love that we choose to give. So that's a blessing for us. But yeah, we get those all the time. And I think, I just encourage people to bet on themselves and take the chance. And, I'm born and raised here, so I went through the education system, University of Maryland, all through it. And so I'm true to this area, and I know that there's talent here, and I know that, companies are looking for talent here. So, come take a chance on us and ride with us, and we'll make sure we put you in positions as best as we can as well.
Yeah, definitely talent in the DMV and University of Maryland. Speaking of which, definitely a lot of talent there with the new Discovery District that's there.
Yeah.
Quantum technology is big there right now. Very big in terms of the tech ecosystem and the tech hub that is growing at UMD. So shout out to UMD. Yeah, shout out to the Terps. And so, give us a little more background about yourselves. You could go, since Femi just talked about being from Prince George's County, but where are you from? Tell people about your background.
Exactly. So I'm also Prince George's County, born and raised, Hyattsville. Went to school up through here as well there too. But I did go to Temple University, so shout out to Temple University. I was as well there too. So went to school there for computer science as well there too, and kind of grown my career from there. So from there, that's really what kind of got me into tech, from starting there and then getting my degree in computer science and then going to work with companies like Lockheed Martin and Meta and Microsoft, and kind of getting that network is kind of what kind of exposed me to, okay, these are the gaps that other people that potentially look like myself that they just don't have, and maybe this is why Techsgiving is needed to kind of disperse this knowledge and democratize it as well there too. So that's kind of my precursor into tech as well.
Great. And how about you, Femi? So you went to school at UMD. Before that, you were born and raised in Prince George's?
Born and raised, man. Lovely Prince George's. I'm from Atlanta, Maryland. Born and raised all throughout. Did elementary school, middle school, high school, all in PG County, and then ultimately stayed home and went to University of Maryland College Park. I worked here my whole life. I worked in DC, I worked in PG, I worked in Alexandria. So I feel like I've been able to sort of work throughout the entire DMV and understand what tech looks like in these different places. And, I think one thing that's really important is that I mentioned earlier that a lot of people don't know that we exist. A lot of people do, but it's allowed us to also kind of just see the range of gaps that we need to fill, and also be that sort of connecting thread. Like, hey, we all work in tech, we all are doing specific things, but this is how we actually build together. And doing Techsgiving has, just allowed us to meet so many people and, kind of create those through lines. And yeah, it's been a blessing to my career, I think, for sure. Just being able to understand what's out there, understand who's working and who's doing what, who's our change makers, and just again, knowledge is power. So I think ultimately the biggest thing is just giving me more knowledge, more access, and more understanding of what's actually being done, so that I can then supercharge my own career, but also say, hey, I've done this and I know it works. You can also do this too.
Great. And just real quick, what do you hope for the future of Techsgiving?
Yeah, I could start. I think for sure, we haven't really talked much about this, but just thinking about how much the DC tech ecosystem is really going to shift because of, decisions that were made at the top of the year, and how that's going to impact the funding federally here, and thinking about GovTech jobs as well there too. So this DMV ecosystem is really, really going to change, and I think we as Techsgiving have a part where we can kind of be stewards of that change for the better as well there too. What are ways that we can kind of foster more opportunity to people in the DMV, so that way people can stay here, but then also people from across the country, across the world can come here to build their careers and their respective businesses as well there too. So that's one thing I think about. But then two, thinking about how we can continue to upskill the area as well there too. We didn't talk much about this, but we actually have a workforce development cohort that we do for AI certification. So that way we can get people from areas that may be underserved to get skills in AI, so that way they can lead the way, the charge for the future. So I think it's one, kind of providing more opportunities and thinking about what DC as a tech ecosystem looks like for the future, and then two, making sure that underserved areas are getting more opportunities to upskill, specifically in AI as well there too.
I saw that. That was pretty neat. I believe it was a Google partnership.
Yes.
Yes. Very cool. I would have signed up, but I never finished those courses. I'm not gonna lie. Every time I sign up for an AI course, I do have to do trainings in journalism for AI, and so I do that stuff. But I feel bad. I'm not gonna take up space. I'm gonna try the next code, and maybe I'll pay attention. But I'm learning on the go. How about you, Femi?
Yeah, I think for me personally, DC is always going to be our bread and butter. We're not going anywhere because, again, we still have a lot of work to do. And even when we feel like we've done enough work, there's always still going to be more work. So it's really about continuing to build this ecosystem here in the DC area, especially for people who are coming in and out the city. Again, a lot of people don't know we exist, right? So it's like, how do we continue to evangelize and be more efficient and actually spread the word? But I think on top of that is, we have a big team, and our team is spread out across the states, right? So there's a few people in this states, how do we give them more support? How do we actually plant a flag in some of these states and actually, kind of do what we've done here, but also give people there an offering as well. We would love for people to come to DC. Let me say that right now. At the same time, if you don't have the opportunity, how can we make sure that the efforts that we're doing are still transferable in certain states? So, we have a presence in Atlanta, a presence in New York, a presence in Chicago, but, you think about Texas, California, these are uncharted territories for us. So how do we actually do things over there that make sense, that it's not just growing for the sake of growing, but growing because we see that there's a presence, we see there's a responsibility for people in that area that we can also serve.
All right. A few more quick questions here. I know we have a convention with the National Association of Black Journalists, and there are do's and don'ts for that convention. Okay. What are your do's and don'ts for Techsgiving?
That's a good one. I think do just come as your full authentic self, right? This is a space where we want people to feel safe. So you don't need to come in like a full out suit, right? Like just come dressed like how you feel as well there too. It's gonna be cold, so dress warm. But that nonetheless, it just come in, as you are as well there too. I think a big thing is very much just to be intentional. Like, so if you have a game plan right after Thanksgiving, then get into Techsgiving mode, right? That first week of December, start to think about, okay, I want to meet X, Y, and Z people, or I want to go to this many activations and booths. I want to go to this many networking events. Set some like key performance indicators for a successful conference as well there too. So those would be my do's. And I think don't be closed-minded, man. A lot of people are changing their careers and changing their mentalities. So you might meet somebody that you may have thought that you may not be aligned with you, that if you open up your mouth and speak or go up to somebody and speak as well there too, this might be somebody that could be your next business partner, could be the next referral for a job, or could just be the next accountability partner as well there too for 2026. So that would be my things.
Great tips.
Yeah, I think my do's and don'ts are kind of the same, but I'll just speak in general. So I think one big don't is don't be scared to talk to anybody. And I think the reason I say that is because even though we're a growing conference, it's not 20,000 people, right? There's a level of intimacy that I think is unique to us where someone might speak, and typically, you want to speak to the speaker after, and it's like a long line, so many people. I think the beauty of our conference is that there's not that many long lines. So the level of like being able to kind of interact with people is really cool because they're right there, they're in arm's reach, and they're willing to talk to you. So I don't let people's titles or their status kind of deter you from, I don't know if they're going to have time, because there's always time. And even us, for example, if we're walking around, we might have our phone in our hand, might be a laptop just running around, like, hey, Femi, you got a moment? I always stop. So don't be afraid and do always talk to anyone where you think, you want to have a conversation. You just never know where it's going to go. And also just take advantage of the entire scope of the conference. There's going to be a lot of events during the conference and after the conference, a lot of social events. It's your time to unwind. Also, talk maybe in a more informal setting. Take advantage of those opportunities as well. So it will be around, and I'm always wanted to talk.
All right, the great tips there as well. And remind people the dates, the times, where they can buy the tickets, all that good stuff.
Yep. So dates and times. So we start Techsgiving December 10th, and through the 13th, it'll be all day, 9 to 5, for all 4 days as well there too. The final day is just more of a farewell day. You can get tickets at Techsgiving.org, and then all our socials are Techsgiving as well there too. So Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, whatever new socials that the kids have, we probably got it as well there too.
And if you hear this and you want a discount, feel free to find us in DM. Say, hey, we saw your interview. We would love a discount. We want to come. We got you.
Oh, that's
the
great.
Femi special, right?
Ayo said, I am not promoting that. This is a Femi special.
We got you. Don't worry. It's on me.
Hilarious. No, I love it. Thank you, gentlemen. All the best. This sounds like it's going to be great. And I also will be doing a panel with you guys on December 11th. I'm really excited about that. And I love the work you guys are doing. And I believe I followed up with a couple of your pitch winners last year.
Yeah.
So we did a couple stories about that. So check that out to see the types of pitch winners that are out there. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.